Hi, everybody. Welcome to This Week in Falmouth. I am Michael.
And I'm Susan.
Hey, Susan, I see you back in your office there.
Back in my office, no books behind me. Yeah, this is the office at the chamber. Yep.
All right. What's
Mm-hmm.
happening? And I'm standing outside the chamber. Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, sort of,
We're still
maybe.
not next to each other, so we're still kind of doing this
Yeah. This is
on
still,
Zoom.
we're back in the office, but we all have separate offices, so we're able to maintain a pretty significant distance between us. But we are not yet at the point where Michael and I can stand side by side and do this. So we're still on the Zoom. But hopefully that will change in the not
That'd be
too distant future.
kind of weird, if we did stand next to each other up front with the masks on.
Yeah,
Nobody would be able to
yeah,
understand what we're saying.
that wouldn't work out too
All
well. So,
right. So,
so this
we're one
works.
one step closer, I guess. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Yeah, we're in the
What's
office.
going on this week? Let it rip.
So this week is week 2 of the digital clock, and on Tuesday the 7th at 5:30 will be Jacob Allen, who will talk about the musical My Fair Lady and how it came to clock. And then at 8 o'clock, the vocal company members in the main stage will do some performances. On Wednesday, the 8th at 10 o'clock, it'll be the production manager and technical director, Kristen Knutson, for Behind the Scenes with Kristen.
Yep.
And you'll be given a tour of the West Falmouth Inn, which is their home base here in Falmouth when they're here for their season. And at 8 o'clock is the backstage with the design and production students. And they'll be talking about backdrops, costumes, and characters for the puppet show. On
That's amazing.
Thursday, isn't that cool?
Yeah,
On
it's cool. You're gonna get the
Thursday,
whole background of clock. It's
yeah,
pretty.
kind of like how they produce it. Yeah.
Love it. It's awesome.
So, yeah. On Thursday, July 9th at 10 o'clock is Dance Around the Clock with their choreographer, Caitlin Belchick, who will teaching basic dance steps for any musical, and about the original West Side Story choreographer Jerome Robbins.
Okay.
Afterwards, at 5:30 p.m. is Clock Tales, and you will sit back and relax with Clock alum Laura Lydia
Oh,
Perezinski and Ian C. Weber. Share a drink, and they will sing a few songs and tell a few tales.
I like it.
And
It'll be
then
great.
Friday, I know it's cool, isn't it? And then
Yeah.
Friday, July 10th at 8 o'clock, they will be presenting Off the Clock, and
Awesome.
Off the Clock. And this week, the company brings in stage director David Ward, music director, excuse me, David Weiler, and music director Valerie Giebert for a talk about their process. On Saturday the 11th at 8 o'clock p.m., Clockwork, where the students were asked to create projects about movies based on musicals. On Sunday the 12th at 4 p.m., with their orchestra second stage, and you'll be getting a sneak preview of their workshop with conductor Jonathan Brennan. So it's a full week of behind the scenes with Clock,
Love it.
and that's their second week. The week of July 9th through 10th, 9th through 10th, the week of July 9th through 18th, 19th, is the Cape Cod Hydrangea Festival. So that's coming up. So that starts, they will have gardens. Gardens will be available across the Cape. Each garden is open 10 to 4. The cost is $5 a piece to go view of a garden. July 10th through 19th is Cape Cod Hydrangea Festival. Takes place for Mashpee Born in Falmouth. So check the website for the
Awesome.
links to get all the information on the different gardens that are available and all that kind of thing.
And
Stores, go ahead.
and look, the hydrangeas are not only like exquisite this year, right? There's more blue than green. It's crazy.
I
But
know,
all the gardens. I mean, it's been prime garden season, and
it's
people have had
beautiful.
time too.
Yeah,
So
time, and it was a mild winter, and we've had enough water and everything this spring, and
yeah,
my hydrangeas are like I've never seen them before.
take some
And driving,
pictures.
oh, and driving through town, it's just like that bright blue is everywhere.
It's everywhere. So
And
this
it's
is a good year to
wonderful.
get out there if you haven't. Go to these gardens and see the hard work people have put in.
Oh,
It's amazing.
very good year. Yeah. So Soares Flower Garden Nursery, they're going to be having something every day,
Right.
Sunday, July 12th through Saturday, July 18th. So again, check our website for the information. They'll be having some local artists. They'll be having fine art photographers. art and floor cloths, plein air painters, and of course the hydrangea talks will be on Sunday, July 12th. So definitely check our website for all that information on the Cape Cod Hydrangea Festival.
Awesome.
Highfield Hall and Gardens is continuing their farm to table outdoor summer culinary program, and that's Wednesday, July 8th from 11 to 12:30. It is, you do meet outside. There's plenty of space for learning. They will have you spaced accordingly to keep the social distancing protocols. And again, as last week, this is a talk about farm to table. So it's all the local stuff that's coming out of the farms and what to do with it.
Nice.
That's Gail Blakely. There's a few virtual talks this week at the Falmouth Museums on the Green. The first one is Wednesday, July 8th from 7 to 8:30, and that is Fire and Fortitude with John C. McManus. This is the U.S. Army in the Pacific War. The Marines are celebrated as victors of the Pacific, but often unsung Army soldiers did most of the fighting and the dying in the war against Japan, and this is their story. And it basically outlines how the Army became itself during this yeah.
Really?
And
Interesting.
that it reshaped the military, turned us from an inward-looking nation to a global superpower. And that was the U.S. Army. The second one is Honorable Exit. This is with Thurston Clark on Thursday, July 9th from 3 to 4 p.m. And this is about, and you may, I don't know if you're old enough to remember this, I remember this. At the end of the Vietnam War and the fall of Saigon, when all of the people that had been stationed over there and working over there, all the attachés and they had used a lot of local people to help them, their drivers and translators and all that kind of thing. When Saigon was falling, they made a heroic effort to bring as many South Vietnamese people out as they could because they were destined to end up in concentration camps or executed. And so they managed to save 130,000 South Vietnamese people who later became U.S. citizens. It sums it up. This Honorable Exit is a deeply moving history of Americans at our finest hour.
Nice.
Yeah. And then their final talk is Washington's End with Jonathan Horn, and that's Tuesday, July 14th, 7 to 8:30 p.m. The Final Years and Forgotten Struggle. And this story begins where most leave off after 8 years as president. As you know, George Washington stepped down, believing that it was necessary for us to learn to say goodbye, as they said in Hamilton, and embrace other people to lead. But it was not an easy time for him. Surrendering power wasn't easy. There were a lot of disputes, intrigues, feuds, personal torment, and in fact, he was drawn back into military service. This immaculately researched book, powerfully told through the eyes of Washington, his family members, friends, and foes, fills a crucial gap in our nation's history and will forever change the way we view the name Washington.
That's right. That's great.
Yeah, I think that sounded really interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The Heritage Museum and Gardens in Sandwich, they're having their Hydrangea University in conjunction with the Hydrangea Festival, but it will be virtual. And so log on to our website. Yeah, falmouthchamber.com, and check that out. And that's it. Oh, and there's going to be a Zoom virtual talk on Knobska Light, Wednesday, July 8th, 7 to 8 p.m. This is being presented by Catherine Bumpus, who's the executive director of the Friends of Knobska Light. You know, this was a major shipping route that went through Vineyard and Nantucket Sounds, and Knobska Light has stood over it since 1829. Construction is currently ongoing to rehabilitate and transform the house into a maritime museum, as Falmouth, the town of Falmouth, has gained control of Knobska Light. And that's it for me.
There's a lot.
There's a lot, yeah. Check our website, falmouthchamber.com. Look for the information on all of the logins. Most of them are Zoom things. You register, they'll send you the Zoom information so that you can log on and check it
Excellent.
out. Yeah.
And come on down, enjoy the good weather, support your local businesses,
Yep,
restaurants,
yep.
retailers,
Yeah.
and make it a great week. We'll see you
Yep.
next week.
Yeah. Have a great week.
Okay.